anyone who has any experience in IT could actually join that program. But when it comes to MLOps, there is a targeted audience who can join. So I just wanted to clarify a few things, right? So this course would actually introduce you to machine learning operations. Basically, we know what is DevOps, right? Even if you don't work in DevOps, we have an idea what DevOps is all about and how DevOps try to solve the problems when it comes to the software delivery and how we can reliably deliver the software faster to the customer. I mean, that is what DevOps is all about, and DevOps does everything necessary to make that happen, right? So, just like DevOps work on software, MLOps is for machine learning. I mean, that would be the simplest definition, especially those who are working in DevOps would understand this definition. So, for any company who develop machine learning models, or continuously they have a machine learning application or AI based application and they want to deliver that application to the customer. I mean, if you think about ChatGPT or DeepSeek as an example, they are keeping they provide us a lot of updates very frequently. I mean, not very frequently as one would expect, but that is going to change. I mean, that must change, right? Typically, whether it is ChatGPT or any popular AI platform that they don't regularly update the software and deliver to the customer. It's like once in a few months they do that, or at least the data what they use for training their models could be little bit older. If you ask ChatGPT what data you are trained on, there's a good chance that ChatGPT would tell you that data that is older than few months, right? There's a so that is what happening. I mean, I'm not talking about ChatGPT, I'm talking about any company who develop an artificial intelligence based application. They have a lot of operational challenges what they are going through, right? Even it is more worse than usual software applications. I mean, the reason is usual software application is all about a predefined code, right? We give an input and it should produce an output, and if there is a problem, there has to be some kind of fixing and stuff in the software process. So if you think from an outside perspective, software is a simple application, something like it's all about working based on the input that it received and produce the output that the user need, which is typically not so much complicated when it is compared with machine learning. But when it comes to machine learning, it's not just about coding, it's also about continuous training. It is important that whatever machine learning models that a company develop, it must be trained continuously if you want it to evolve and become more and more successful or produce more and more accuracy. When somebody asks it a question, it should respond, it should make some reasonings, and it should finally give a proper response. And not to develop such an AI model, it's a bit more complicated. You need accurate data to train the model, and you need models to be developed in a proper way, and you need to choose the right algorithms. And you, if there is no one, you should develop yourself a model. So there are a lot of complications when it comes to machine learning, and because of these complications, now most of the companies are facing some issue taking their model to production in time, including big companies, right? I mean, that never happened in right when it comes to software. I mean, if you think about Amazon or Google, they deploy thousands of time every day, right? But that is not true when it comes to machine learning. It's slightly more complicated, and it was not a big problem in the industry because there were not too many companies developing the AI models, right? But now the situation is changing, and MLOps would get the relevance that it deserved, right? I mean, it didn't have the relevance because only few companies used to develop these models, and and it was not important for them to deliver models in time to the customer. But now the competition has begun, and a lot of systems are coming in. So obviously the operation is going to become, right, more than development. The operation is going to become more important in the AI world. I mean, right, that's what happened like 10 years ago in the DevOps field, 10, 15 years ago in the DevOps area in the software industry. That is what happened, right? Because of a lot of competitions, every companies wanted to deliver things faster, and then DevOps has evolved, and whichever company did things faster, they made a big advantage out of it, and that is exactly what's going to happen in this AI area. So that is where, we are in a turning point. We are standing at a turning point, and one big advantage is that the people who learned DevOps 10, 15 years back, they got a big advantage out of it. That's because not just in terms of salary or anything like that, but no, yeah, salary is one big advantage. And then if you consider the job or the people who started early, now they work in a much bigger position and be able to manage most of the DevOps operations within the team, and be able to guide the team in the right manner and everything. So basically, I mean, no, I'm not talking about DevOps or MLOps. For any technology, when you have an opportunity to start at the beginner level, that will make a big difference, right? Right now, it would be more like the candidates market, not the employer market. Right now, the employer need MLOps engineer, and there are no sufficient people out there, and that is when we get to really negotiate, or we can actually stand in a position and make our demands whenever we need them. And if you are skilled, get hired, and basically go for the I mean, probably you can have more than one offer. In case of DevOps, that has changed, right? I mean, yeah, 10, 15 years ago that was the case, but today that is not the case. I mean, believe me, there are a lot of people out there who understand DevOps, and companies have the flexibility to hire them. And I don't think it used to. Now they pay the salary what they were ready to pay 10 years back. So a lot of things has changed in the DevOps area, and now probably many people today working in the DevOps domain is also considering to learn MLOps. And one big advantage that is happening in many companies is that they are not forming a whole new MLOps team. If you are already working as a DevOps engineer, and if your company has me, I think some of you are already learning this because there is an opportunity or there is a need. So that's also true. Most of the companies, there is no separate MLOps team for now. In most of the company, it's the DevOps team themselves taking care of the machine learning operations as well, because that's how it's going to evolve, right? Maybe after 2 years, there would be a separate MLOps team for reliability and also for operations. We can expect that, but as of now, those who are working in DevOps has a great opportunity to transition themselves into MLOps, and probably just refresh the whole career, and start from a much better and bigger level, which would be helpful, right? I mean, let's say, think about next 10 year or 5 year or 10 year. This operations is going to become big challenge. Compliance is going to become a big challenge. So those were the problem that we need to work on, right, when it comes to AI and ML. All right, so that is where this course would become more relevant, and that is why I would say those who have some expertise either in DevOps or in machine learning, this course fits them very well. And if you are new to both of these, I mean, at least if you are good at machine learning or DevOps, yeah, perfect, well and good. But if that's not the case, you can just I can reach out to you, give you some other advices, or help you with some courses that would help you get started, right? You need to get some understanding about many things, about software, about containers, about DevOps, right? And then also a little bit about machine learning basics and stuff, and then you can take this course. So basically, yeah, those who are an absolute beginner, you can reach out to us later, okay, after the demo, and I'll guide you how how it's going to work in your case. All right. Okay, so what I will do is I will walk you through the topics what we are going to cover, and also something we are starting from the basics. So you already work in DevOps and you have some understand, or you know a little bit cloud, and that's good enough to start the course. But what you should also learn is machine learning, and we are covering machine learning basics in this training, which is enough. I mean, I have not planned this course for developers. I have planned this course for the people who mostly work on the operation side, like a DevOps side. So you will not be developing the machine learning models, but still you need to know how machine learning models function and what are the challenges. I mean, every time I take a training, so the first thing that I want to make sure is that you understand the challenge. What is the problem you are actually trying to solve? Yeah, take any technology, especially complicated technologies like MLOps. Unless you understand the problem, it's very difficult to learn anything to solve that problem, because the tools are complicated. Every time you learn some tool, you will learn the tool technically, but you will end up losing yourself after some time, after you learn the tool, because you clearly don't match the tools ability to solve the real-time problems, right? That's one big challenge when it comes to learning. It was a challenge when learning DevOps. It is still a challenge when learning MLOps. So you need to understand the problem first. What is the problem we are trying to solve? And for that, we need to understand what is machine learning and how machine learning works, how companies develop the model and what teams are involved, and how do you develop a model. And you won't be developing any code. I would be providing you a sample project to work on. You would be working on that project, and through that project you would be training a model manually, then creating executable files out of that model, and we would be running those models in the cloud, AWS or Google. I would strongly suggest everyone to create a Google Cloud account, because we need a slightly more computing resources than AWS free trial allows. So if you have a Google Cloud free trial, that would be enough. You won't have to pay for any cost for the lab extra charges. So I would ask everyone to create yourself an account at Google Cloud and enable the free trial. And that we can use that for the labs. Free trial will work. Absolutely, it will work. And then yeah, so what I was saying, yeah, you will first try to learn machine learning, and take a sample model, train it, and then train it using some data, and finally run it in the cloud, deploy it to the cloud, and evaluate it. And if required, you will change the data, train the model with new data. And every time any kind of training happens, you need to track various things, the parameters. And basically yeah, there are many parameters when we talk about machine learning model. We'll talk the technical stuff in detail when we start the training. But yeah, you just need, you don't just have to worry about models. You have to worry about models, you have to worry about parameters, you have to worry about the data that was used for training that particular model. So because of we are using multiple things for training, it is also important that we track them all every time the training happens. When I say training, I mean machine learning model training, right? So if 10 times a model is being trained, 10 times you want to track everything, the model parameter data that was used for training, and you want to store them. So there must be there's an importance of tracking, which was not so important when we were dealing with DevOps and softwares, right? But when it comes to machine learning, that would also become a challenge. And then you need to make things developer friendly. Developer should have the ability to continuously develop the model, train the model, and then probably be able to do that 10 times again and again over a day. They should have that flexibility. They should get the feedbacks. They should be able to run the model in cloud all by themselves. You need to make some pipelines and stuff. So you want to make things very much developer friendly. So for that, there are few libraries. There are some frameworks available that would actually help the developer train, track, and do all those stuff, store, deploy, and everything. So we'll be learning MLflow. MLflow is that particular library that we talked about. So if you have some Python knowledge, that would be very good actually, because these models, what I used, they are developed in Python. So I would advise, if you don't know Python, take some YouTube course, 2 hour course or something, to get some basic understanding about Python, because that would be good, right? That's a good idea to take some knowledge on. Yeah, so that's how. So if I have to walk through the topic list, on the first week, even also in the second week, first week we will cover all the basics, the machine learning. We will try to understand how exactly the machine learning work, and how to do the training, how to do the tracking and everything. Then in the second week, we will try to understand what is MLOps, and we will talk about ML flow to automate all those processes that we talked about, the training, tracking, and all the stuff. And then we will continue the ML flow learning for that entire week, week 2. And then in the week 3, we will get into managing the models and deployments. We'll get into deployments. We will produce the models, and then we deploy them into the cloud. And then we will access those models using APIs, and try to make sure that the models are working. You give some input, make sure that they are producing output after it did its reasoning and everything. Then yeah, probably we will also talk about what are the different ways you can run model in production, right? We can run it using container, we can run it without container. So we'll talk about a brief overview of the deployment practices, how it can be done in the cloud. And once we complete the week 3, so you will have a very strong understanding about what is machine learning and what is MLOps, right? And so that you'll understand all the problems and everything in the first 3 weeks. And after week 3, we will get into much more advanced topics actually. We try to learn these models in Kubernetes. Kubernetes is becoming a very, very important necessity when it comes to machine learning, because like I said, machine learning has too many complexities, and you need a much wider and bigger systems to manage these models in each companies. And if you have to do it without Kubernetes, it is still possible today. There are many companies who are running and deploying models without Kubernetes, but it's complicated. Things are complicated. Kubernetes is complicated, but actually it is much. It will simplify a lot of machine learning development and deployment, like not 2 times easier than the traditional environments, you can say. All right. So I don't know. Many of you worked on DevOps, but I'm not sure how many of you are good with Kubernetes. So for 1 week, I'll spend on learning, spending Docker, Kubernetes, and also some Kubeflow, some installations of Kubeflow. Kubeflow is the particular tool. Actually, we are learning Kubernetes because we want to learn Kubeflow. So without learning Kubernetes, we cannot learn Kubeflow. Kubeflow is the particular tool that companies uses in order to deploy the applications, or not only deployment, even for development, tracking, and artifact storage, deployments. For many purpose, we use Kubeflow. So before we get into Kubeflow, you will learn the basics of Docker and Kubernetes, and also how to install Kubeflow and stuff. So that's what we will spend on the 4th week. I mean, when I say 4th week, I would no, it means the first week of the advanced MLOps training. First 3 weeks we spend on basics, and last 3 weeks we spend on advanced topics. So in effect, the 4th week we spend on learning Docker, Kubernetes, and basics of Kubeflow. And then, yeah, without understanding the machine learning, MLOps, learning Kubeflow is very difficult. That's why first 3 weeks we spend on the basics. Okay. And then once that is done, we will continue to learn Kubeflow, some advanced topic. How do you create pipelines using Kubeflow, and how do you automate the training, evaluations, debugging, monitoring the pipelines, not the application, but rather the pipelines. So Kubeflow is a framework which is built on top of Kubernetes, which has multiple capabilities, right? So we will get into that in the next week. In fact, fifth week, actually, you can say. And then in the sixth week, finally, we will get into the deployment process. How do you deploy? How do you scale the models using Kubeflow? And like I said, Kubeflow has different components that would actually allow you to do a lot more things. And a lot of new components are also in under development. So we will be getting into all that in week 3. And also we will be using some CI/CD process. Kubeflow also allows you to set up and create pipelines and stuff. So we will try to deploy our model all the way from developer laptop to production using a CI/CD pipeline. That would also be our intention. So total 6 weeks. First 3 weeks, the all the basics that you need for you will understand MLOps very clearly in the first 3 weeks. Then in the last 3 weeks, you will get into a much advanced training. And the reason why we are getting into much advanced training is mostly you can say to find a job. Right? Let's say if you are planning to switch your career or if you're trying to upgrade yourself within your same company, right? Learning this is important. Kubeflow is one tool people need a lot of, right? People want to hire, right? So if you know Kubeflow, there's a very good chance that you can get hired. There are not many people who know Kubeflow, and now it's a requirement in most of the companies. So that is one major reason we are going deep dive into Kubeflow. And after this sixth week, you will be working on a project. Actually, I would give you an end-to-end machine learning. You don't have to do any development, but rather you want to build a pipeline, an MLOps pipeline from coding to production all by yourself. I'd be providing the problem and I would be providing the requirement the client wants. What exactly the client requirements are, I would make it clear. And in 5 days, there would be, it can be done in 5 days because most of the technical stuff that you need to do the project you will already learn from the training. So project is not a big deal, and this project is very special. Let's say you are trying to look for a job later, you can explain this project as a project you have done to an interviewer, and we are following the best practices in MLOps, and the project is much bigger and uses the better technologies and better practices. So this would be very convincing, and not many companies are doing it, right? That's the best thing. So when you try to take an interview, so basically you are somebody who is automating all this stuff would actually be a big deal to an interviewer or to a hiring company. So that's the brief understanding. And I need 2 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. I'll just I'll summarize. I'll conclude and I'll take your questions. Just give me 2 minutes, okay? Santosh, I'll be back in 2 minutes, okay? So please go ahead. So what I'll do is I'll take your question. So this is basically, what our plan is. The whole training would take 7 weeks. We start from tomorrow same time, and yeah, the whole training will take 7 weeks. And first 3 weeks we will spend on learning MLOps. Next 3 weeks we do go with some advanced learning, running, deploying, building, and tracking models using Kubernetes. And then finally, we will do a project where you will try to solve a real-time problem. And finally, I would help you with some how do you prepare for the interview and everything. So that's the overall plan. And if you are lucky, I'll just try. Maybe we can finish in 6 weeks also. I'm not sure. Maybe the first 3 weeks, I will. Maybe we can complete in 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks also. I'm expecting. So this is the first time I'm providing this as a training. So the date, whatever date I mentioned, may not be extremely accurate. I have lots of work experience, but from the training perspective, yeah, I used to deliver training on various technologies, including DevOps and Kubernetes and many other things. So because of this is my first batch on the MLOps part, the date can be a little bit 2 days less or 2 days more. I'm not expecting not more than 1 week, right? Maybe 1 week more or 1 week less you can expect, but for sure, I mean, the maximum time it is going to take is 8 weeks, not more than 8 weeks. Similarly, if things are going much better, probably instead of 7 weeks, we can finish in 6 weeks also. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. All right. So, anyone, any questions? Please go ahead.
Hi, Basil. This is Charles. So, how long will be each session per day?
1.5 hours, so 7:30 to 9
In the morning?
in the morning. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it daily classes or weekly?
It will be daily. Every weekdays we will have session from Monday. No, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Friday I thought of skip. Yeah, every week there will be sessions. You can plan accordingly. We may skip some Fridays if the topics are becoming maybe not in the first 3 weeks. Maybe once we completed the basics training, we may try to skip a Friday so that you will get enough time to practice and everything. First 3 weeks is going to be very smooth. I mean, it is not that much complicated. We will go slow, and I would be sharing all the labs with you guys. You can try yourself. For that, you need to spend some extra 15-20 minutes. I don't think more than that. So yeah, so if you can spend 2 hours per day, that's good enough.
The question was when you say daily, like Monday through Friday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or like all 7 days a week, or once or
Five days,
twice a week. Yeah.
5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So no
Okay.
sessions on weekends. And if you are from the US, it would be from Sunday to Thursday. Those from
Got
the
it.
US, Canada, it would be, yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so can we get the recording session if we miss any of the session?
Yeah, I will be recording every sessions and I would be sharing them. So not just the miss session, what I'll do is I'll record every session. So yeah, that won't be a problem.
So, like, how would you share the recordings, like, over Google, sorry, Google Drive, or do you have any LMS access or something else?
We will have an LMS or Google Drive. Okay, that I haven't planned yet. But
Okay.
yeah, you would be getting the access on the same day, right? So maybe
The
initially we
same day
can
is fine,
start.
but till at what extent, like, 1 year or 2 years, like, how it will be.
The promise is that it will be done on the same day, but mostly I try to do it within an hour or two.
No, question here is like for how long that recording would be available for future reference?
Available.
You mean even after the training will it? Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
another month after the training is completed. Yes.
So
We
we
can
will get
download
access
and
for only
save.
1 month.
No, we can download and save it, right?
Yeah, I think it should be possible. Yeah, I don't promise on that part, but yeah. So what I mean is additional 1 month, not the training period, but additional 1 month.
See, like,
But if
post
you
completion of
guys,
training, so we can't.
no, it's
So some.
flexible. I mean, don't worry about that front. I mean, it's not a big deal. So you can, let's say, if you need more access after 1 month, I don't think we are going to charge anything for that. We will we'll extend the access as required. That
No,
will
no,
be flexible.
actually, the access is for 1 year. It's very confirmed from the management side. Access will be for 1 year. No worries in that for everyone. Yeah, it's for 1 year.
We can
Yeah.
download though, right?
Yeah, you will be getting a downloadable option also. Don't worry about
Okay, okay, thank
it. Yeah.
So, is there any way in case if we need to catch up on particular subject? So, do we get any extra time from the mentor, or like who can help us out on the technical front in case if we got stuck?
That would be me. So basically, not, I don't see a lot of opportunity outside the training time, but like we did today, the training will be interactive and you will have the ability to unmute yourself, ask any question that you have, even if it is a question from yesterday or even if it is a question outside our topic, I won't mind. So I will keep that flexible, and you will also have my mail ID through which you can drop me an email. If you're stuck with some lab and you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me through email. And yeah, I want the training to be mostly interactive as much as possible. That is the best way to uh, learn stuff and basically help each other. So daily, maybe towards the end, we will spend some dedicated time also. Apart from the ability to unmute yourself and ask questions, maybe we will spend some 10 minutes at the end only for Q&A. We can do that, those things.
Yeah, because some of the team knows Python or advanced topics, and some of doesn't know any Python and all, right? So we need to catch up with the speed. So that's why we may stuck with the technical questions on daily basis.
Right, definitely.
So what could be the timing for the class on
It will
Monday to
be
Friday?
7:30 to 9 a.m. IST, India time.
Mhm.
Yeah, 1.5
Okay.
hours per day.
So one more quick question, Steve. Like I'm into IT, right? So I am completely new to this course, like say my machine learning operations and whatever the DevOps tools which you explained about, right? So Kubernetes and Docker. And you're saying about like pipelines. So, are we going to write any pipelines via like writing the pipelines and deploying them through Jenkins? Are we using Jenkins tool here, or any other tools which are required for MLOps? And what are the like key responsibilities we just need to put in the resume? And nowadays, like now Naukri, like Naukri, whatever the job site which we have, that is going to be outdated, and will be all the most of the employees are interested on LinkedIn. So, I'm completely new to the, LinkedIn, like, how the LinkedIn profile will be created. See, like, as of now, we have, getting the jobs through Naukri sites and other job sites actually. So, do we get, suggestions on LinkedIn profile creation as well from your side?
Yeah, I can. So basically, during the project week, what we do is we try
Mm-hmm.
to explain not only the project but also what the expectations are from an interviewer and how you should demonstrate yourself, not just LinkedIn, but also how your resume should look like, right, for a people. So based on the job demand, based on the lot of job demand that are out there already that we can see. And so I would be giving you some suggestions on how do you prepare your resume, LinkedIn profile, and everything. And also,
Mm-hmm.
how do you explain this project to an interviewer? I mean, mostly when it comes to those who are looking out for job change, the difficulty what I have seen the most is how do you convince the interviewer that you are the right one to hire? And basically every interviewer wants to know about your job. They don't care much. I mean, to my knowledge, yeah, we have many people have many confusion on this part. It's
Yeah.
the interview is all about a technical process, Q&A process. It's not. It's basically the interviewer just try to understand your project, your work, your attitude, your mindset, and then basically if you will fit their team. So, how exactly the communication should work to an interviewer, what you should tell, and and how do you keep yourself cool or take the control or try to understand the interviewer, try to listen to him. So I'll be giving those tips and how do you explain this project, right? And not including so much technical, without getting into too much technical, how you can easily explain in simple English that everyone will understand this project once you explain to them. So those things we will be discussing after we complete, once we completed the project. I mean, those things we'll be discussing. So
Okay.
yeah, so I think finding job won't be very difficult. Also, I believe the reason why I believe that is, when I was taking DevOps training, initial days, finding job was kind of, nobody needed my help. Also, most of the time after they completed the project, they start their job marketing and then they find the job, and the market was in high demand. And towards the end of the training, I had to make them work on much more advanced project, and I wanted to teach them the communication style because market was getting more crowded and everything. So in when it comes to MLOps, we are doing a very good project, and if we can explain this project in a confident and very high level manner without explaining tech. I mean, the reason why I said don't include so much technical is because if you include technical, even technical people won't understand what you're talking. So basically, the understanding is about how you manage the ML models in your company, and that should be as precise as you should explain it in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, not more than that. So that all those things we will discuss. And yeah, I don't think finding job in MLOps, according to the today's market condition, it's not a difficult thing to do actually.
Yeah, I got your point.
Will it cover support on the job also after the course?
I am available for any technical advice that you need, not
Okay.
not for a continuous support. I mean, the idea is that you shouldn't need any once you took this training. So yeah, I used to get request on job supports also earlier, but basically not from the people whom I trained. So I make sure that they are capable, they understand the challenges. So most of the people need job support because they know a lot of technical stuff. They don't understand the problem what they are working on. So what the expected responsibility and everything. So in our training, I don't think you will face that challenge. Anyway, you already have some knowledge in IT, and take the training, understand the challenges, understand the solution, work on a real-time project. That's good enough to start working actually, right? So as long as you're working on the project, I don't think you need any job support. Whatever support you need, you can always get from your teammates. Uh, yeah, that's the thing. No, yeah, yeah. That's the same story in my DevOps training also. I don't think anybody needed job support. If you have any questions or technical advice or anything that you need, you can always reach out to me.
So do you have any free sessions which are available till certain certain days for this week? Anyhow you're going to start the batch by tomorrow, not this week or next week probably, right? So for getting the complete, like not complete understanding, but at least basic understanding of MLOps and whatever the tools involved in it, and the key responsibilities which you are going to apply in the current market, like current organization. So is there any free classes? Like as per your overview, so I understand. Like I bit confused actually. Like it is completely related to DevOps and some other tools like transaction or something we use, right? So I just wanted to know, if it's completely related to DevOps or ML or something, where it is difference, like where is the difference here? So if you would provide like 2 through 3 classes or free classes, so we can like understand what exactly the course content is, and with the key terms which we are going to explain, right?
So Yeah, you're expecting the high level pictures about the. Actually, I have some videos for you. There are
Okay.
podcast that I did with Santosh, and also there is one seminar also that we did together. So basically, I mean, you want to understand the market, you want to understand the problems, what kind of problem companies are facing, and those are the things you should be spending extra time on. Technical wise, we are
Yeah.
covering everything from scratch, but yeah, those are very, very important things you should be, if you are spending extra time, those time should go into those things. So to start with, I have two podcasts that I will share with you. I think me
Okay,
or
sure.
and that
Yeah,
would be.
that will be helpful if you would share, if you have any URLs to be follow up on, previous recordings and all. So that would be helpful. So that,
Yeah,
I
once
can
after
decide and, get back to you.
yeah, once after the session is completed, we will share with everyone. Okay. Yeah.
So like, coming to fee actually. So the moment you start the session, do you need to pay a,
Can we
fee
discuss
at
this
a
part
time or?
after the session, please, in an individual call, if you don't mind?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, that will be great.
Yeah, hi.
I'm sorry. What was about the fees? One more time. Sorry. Individual what?
No, regarding the fee and everything, please discuss with your respective contact person, either Santosh or
Okay,
me,
got it. Okay,
or
got
yeah,
it. Thank you. Got it. Thank you. Got it. Thank you.
great.
All right. Thank you.